All right, welcome everybody to this episode of Monetizing Your Mental Capital. I'm your host, Will Christensen. I have a special guest today. Izabella Ritz is here, and Izabella, the first question I want to ask you is actually a question I like to ask all of our guests. Rather than reading a bio, I actually love it if you'd introduce yourself. Imagine you're in an elevator. The guy next to you is like, "Yeah, I'm like an eight-figure seller. Like, what do you do?" And what I'd love for you to do is just, give us that, you've only got like 45 seconds in the elevator as it flows up. Why would an Amazon seller want to hear from you around monetizing your mental capital, around building their Amazon business?
I'll just probably ask the question, how many new products are you usually launching per year or per month? And their answer will be if it's like eight, nine figure seller or even seven, they will tell me something in between 1 to 6 products a month. And then I will ask follow-up question, how many of them are successful? And then the answer will be in between 20% to 50%. And this is where I'll say, well, what I'm doing is finding the products, validating to make sure your success rate is very close to 100% because we're developing products, finding, validating, developing products that beating your competitors before you spend a dime on inventory. That was less than 45 seconds.
All right. So it's all about new products. I like it. I like it.
New
Okay. So,
product that will be addition to the brand, not to the brand, just I want to launch a new product. I am new to Amazon. I want to launch a product. It doesn't really matter who you are. You're a 10-figure seller, 9-figure seller, you're brand new. You still have to go through the same loops by finding an idea that you will not have to waste your money and time.
mm, so it's about that validation. That's what so here's my question for you. How many new products are we talking about here in terms of how many new products have you had to be involved with? I guess we'll ask that question that are now out there and in the world making money on Amazon.
I stopped the count. It just because in the beginning it was like, oh, we hit 100 new products. And then you're just going with the, like some people love to count. I just stop. I focus on other things. But it's definitely in, I don't know, 600 products, probably, maybe more. I don't know,
Love it.
give or take.
Love it. So going back to what we talked about right before we started recording, imagining you're in a coffee shop with a friend who's just gotten started on Amazon. They're doing a couple $1,000s a month on Amazon. Which of these areas, and I've already we the first one here, um, that we already know that you're in this category, so we'll definitely go over this. But um, which of these areas would you say you might be able to help them with? Product launches, reviews, product listings, advertising, or preparing for scaling?
So
Would you
first,
say?
if somebody will tell me I'm already making $2 or $3,000 a month per product, good for you. That means you've been able to figure out the way to get into the profits, probably day one or month two, because now we have to figure out if this product is not niche enough or we can scale this product, right? And it's not really my area of expertise. I will just send people to the experts like you that like you guys are scaling because uh, my expertise is where I have to make sure we do have a product that we will be able to launch successfully and then scale. However, what I hear the most, listen, I launched the product on Amazon, two versions. Version number one, I launched product on Amazon. It's been selling very well, and then it stopped. Super common. And the second one, I launched the product on Amazon and it didn't work and I wasted a lot of money. And now I'm kind of disappointed. I discouraged, and I don't know if I still want to do it again. And there's the third one is where like big sellers, which is like also super common. We launched like we had a client this year. He came and he said, we launched the past year, I think he said 72 or 75 new products, and all 75 failed.
Mm,
It's It's just painful.
Mm.
So, and this is where if somebody is already making money, I will just tell them, listen, here is Seller Labs. They will help you scale it. However, let's take a look at your conversion and let's see if there is something else we can improve because we have now Rufus. If somebody still don't know what it is, it's an assistant that helps shoppers to, hey, sweetie, that helps shoppers to buy the product and helps sellers to sell the product. So Rufus technically is your salesman that can kill your sale or help you make the sale. And here where we have to actually understand what kind of information we are providing on our listing and what kind of information we are not providing on our listing. And we can dig deeper here if you want to.
What common mistakes would you say new sellers are making during a product launch, and what could they do to avoid them? What are the most common mistakes?
Well, it's ignorance. It's ignorance. It's Dunning-Kruger effect, where people believe that they know everything without knowing anything. And a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm gonna start. I'll launch like 10 units, and we'll see what happens." And when I hear that, I just don't want to have a conversation because I have to handle objections and uh, break their limited beliefs that it's actually possible. So as long as people are diving into the roots of Amazon path and they understand, they're trying to learn how this approach work, then they are very closer to the success. But the most of them, they're just ignorant. They watch the video on YouTube. They find out that you can make millions of dollars on Amazon. And here's my question, really? Okay. And then they fail.
And what would you say are some of those things that they're not checking on before they dive in there? What are the things they're missing?
They're not checking anything. They really finding the product, checking the box with like Jungle Scout or Helium 10, and which is also pretty upsetting. I understand like Jungle Scout and Helium 10, they're on the surface and they're the biggest guys that have the biggest amount of subscribers and recurrent revenue. But we have other tools like Smart Scout and Data Dive and Voc AI. Nobody's talking about Voc AI. These guys can tell you how much um, if the niche is actually saturated with the relevant products for the relevant keyword, where you can actually
Interesting.
assess and tell yourself like, oh shit, if I'm going with like, I don't know, white stool for baby room, I don't know, I'm just speculating with the keywords right now, you will be able to see the ratio to demand to supply, and you'll be able to make an informed decision just based on this metric. If it's like too saturated and you have hundreds of people, hundreds of sellers competing for this keyword, and you can immediately on the same chart, you'll be able to see the potential bid for your PPC campaign and etc., right? And people just look at the, coming back to answering your question, they are just looking at the X-ray and like, oh, I can make $50,000 and that's fine. 1,300 reviews doesn't mean anything. I can get to 1,300 reviews. Then they will watch YouTube video and somebody will tell them that they can do giveaways. They will not know that Amazon is actually suing the companies that are providing these manipulated reviews and etc., right? And people just going down to the rabbit hole with like fake news, I would say that.
Mm. So you mentioned it was it woke AI. What was
Yes,
the
it's voice of customer. They also call themselves Shulux. I still don't know what's right branding for them. But if you will go to VOC, hold on, voc.ai, that's them. A phenomenal tool. Really, you can scrape so much information. You can go into customer insights and build the list of the requirements for your product if you do it correctly. They provide you everything about shopper's experience, keywords, social listening. You can really put out there the brand name and they will give you all information from the back end that's been mentioned in for the past, I believe, 9 months is the longest period of time, at least for now, for the brand on TikTok, YouTube, Google, and like all the social media, Instagram. So you'll be able to see if they're actually doing something to support their brand with external traffic and social media and
Mm,
influencer marketing.
mm,
So just by staying in this software, you can gather so much information to make some decisions, not just let's take a look at the X-ray. X-ray is phenomenal. I love it. X-ray is the starting point where we're making a decision if we want to go with validation of this product or not. If it's
mm.
potentially a good idea, it's horrible. But we still have to do a lot of other things too.
So, how should sellers think about pre-launching? So, like, what if they're going to pre-launch? What steps do they need to go through so that they're ready? And is there like a launch day that they, like if I found a new product and I'm trying to kind of figure out all of that, what's that planning step look like?
So we actually learned a lot about pre-launching by launching Kickstarter campaign, crowdfunding campaign. Uh, you probably heard that there are a lot of Amazon sellers that are launching products on Kickstarter with the purpose to create awareness about your product. Because when you're going with a Kickstarter or Indiegogo, you're creating awareness and people starting Googling your brand everywhere. And if you're doing a good job with Facebook and Google campaigns, then you're pretty much set up for the phenomenal launch when it will be appearing on Amazon. However, if you don't want to go the route of the Kickstarter campaign, because it's kind of there are some pros and cons. If you have enough of budget to do it straight on Amazon, then you're um, creating literally the same thing as everybody does with info products. You're creating a landing page, you're creating interest, you are inviting people to go on the waiting list when this perfect product for based on their requirements will show up. You're creating email sequence to warm them up, how to use it, what's the purpose, what are the benefits, tailoring to them. Not like, oh, look, we have the product with these features. You're talking about the benefits, about the results, about the solution of this product. You're making people so excited. And of course, you will go with the open rate to your emails. Like day one, it will be probably 80%. And day of the launch, it's going to be 35, 40%. If you will turn it into a great newsletter, people will still be opening at 50%. But if you will do it correctly, you will put people into your WhatsApp chat, Instagram channel, if you use Telegram chat and etc., if you use ManyChat, if you will just put these people in all the channels where they are on a daily basis, not just
Mhm.
the email, the moment you launch it, you're informing everybody. And if you have like, let's say 5,000 people on your list, given that average subscriber, if you have an okay um, Facebook guy or Facebook gal that is running your Facebook ads, on average, your targeted subscriber will cost you about $2. So now you spend $10,000 to get 5,000 subscribers. If 50% of them are still interested in your product by the day of launch because you did a good job, then you have 2,500 people, let's say 1,500 to 2,500 people, probably ready to buy your product the day you launch it.
Mm,
And
mm.
now everything is just about how you launch it. Will you provide them additional promo code, like a social media promo code from Amazon, because you will reward them that they've been with you from day one and they've been waiting and excited. And generally speaking, that's one of the greatest things you can do for your pre-launch campaign, because and then you can also kind of have an estimate how many units you should order and
Because you have an
reorder.
idea of what that looks like.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So would you recommend people collect pre-orders? Like would it is it
You can
like
collect pre-orders with like $1. That's also a great idea.
oh, interesting. So
Yeah.
so collect a pre-order. So, put down $1 deposit that reserves your spot in line, and then we'll give you a $1 off coupon kind of thing. And you can
Uh, you can do it several ways. One of the ways you are telling them we order just 1,000 units, and the moment we will release it, you will be one of the first people that can purchase it. And then if you want to reserve the right to get this product, you have to like, here's the option to buy these rights for just one refundable dollar. So when
Ooh,
people
one
know that this
refundable dollar. So it's not a discount off of the actual product. It's actually just the well, and it's a dollar. So
and it's a dollar.
and
Yeah.
it's refundable.
And it's refundable. Yeah.
Okay, I
So
like that.
now you're sending them the coupon code and you're telling them, listen, I probably will not be able to track if you personally purchased on Amazon. Send me back the proof of the order and I will refund you a dollar. And then they're sending you back the proof of the order. You're refunding them a dollar. Everybody's happy. They got their discount. They got a product first before it really became like super available to everybody. And if they leave the review after you request reviews on Amazon, Amazon sees that they came from the email campaign. And Amazon, you know how Amazon analyzing the avatar of the buyer, this review is legit and verified. So
Nice.
you can have this launch pretty powerful if you do it right away.
Interesting. What kind of budget? So let's say I'm that seller who's in that coffee shop and we're chatting. What kind of budget should I have? To like say I want to launch something new. Like, should I have $10,000 on hand? Do I have $5,000 on
You
hand?
have to have at least 30 grand if we're talking about results you want to get. Um, so let's say average citizen in the United States is making 80, $90,000 a year, right?
Okay.
People want to substitute this income by going into Amazon. Will they substitute it year one? It depends on the investments. To consider that these guys have 30, $40,000 access to based on their savings plus credit cards is a fair assessment, I would say that. So you can start with 30, 40 grand and you will be able to get to, I would say, 60 to 120,000 in yearly revenue. About 25 to 30% from there, if you do things right, will be your profit. And it's really, it's so proportional based on your investments. So if you have 30, 40 grand, that's a good starting point. If you have $10,000, your opportunities are limited to only cheap products. And if you're launching cheap product, you have very low margin. And if you have very low margin, you can't scale, you can't grow, you can't order extra inventory. So I rather people to because the launch is happening within 6 to 8 months, right? So I rather people to find the way to make more money within this six to 8 months and invest into more expensive products where they will be able to have at least minimum $20 per sale. And then they will be able to reinvest this into the new product and into the new product and the new product. So they will have at least 3, 4 products where each is making them at least $20. So now you're making per sale $20. If you're selling 40 units a day, you're making $800 a day. So now we're talking, right? So that's supposed to be the idea, but if you have just $5,000, just don't waste your time. Go on a travel trip, uh, do something nice for yourself, and don't waste your money with like small budget. It's all illusion. It's just not realistic. It's not possible, and don't trust all these stupid videos on YouTube that like you can become rich if you have $22,000. It's just BS.
So switching gears a little bit here, reviews have obviously been a very controversial topic on Amazon for a long time.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned before, the guys out there that are um, selling reviews are getting sued. The different companies that are doing kind of that reimbursement thing where Amazon brought that all in house and they now do Vine and all that jazz. Um, what would you say a review strategy for a new product needs to be?
Um, I genuinely believe, and what's interesting, the year 2017, when it's first popped up, Amazon removed a lot of reviews, and people were panicking. What should we do right now? Blah, blah, blah. This is where we started thinking that we have to approach products differently. Um, people are willing to buy your product with zero reviews on it if it's a good product in the first place. And we have a case study going on right now where we launched a product. It's a variation of three different products. It's three separate ASINs. They're not merged into the same family yet, but uh, product with zero reviews. We've been able to make 80, I believe in the morning I was looking at $82,000 for the past 30 days. Yes, we're in Q4. Yes, we had Black Friday, but this product has during Q4, it has only 2x demand. So if it's not 82 right now, it's going to be 40,000 in a regular time because it's plenty of demand for this product. And competitors are having thousands of reviews. But if you're approaching your product the way where you're building the product based on the consumer's demand and customer avatar, you're able to launch the product with zero reviews and become profitable just because it's a good thing and people want to purchase it, people want to have it because it's cool enough, right? And in this case, I'm totally up for Vine reviews. Vine reviews will give you a good boost again if your product is good enough. There is a lot of debates where people are saying like Vine reviews is total shit. I don't like Vine reviews. And it's fair for some type of products, for supplements or skincare. You can't be good for everybody, right? It's very hard to be liked for some like skincare or supplements for thousands of different people, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very tailored. Like, everybody heard that vitamin C is great for your skin. For somebody, it can stain their skin, right? And then they will say that's their personal reaction. It's not the skincare is bad. It's just their personal skin response on the product. So in these cases, Vine reviews are not the best shot, but at the same time, other reviews will be the same.
So it's
So
actually
there,
funny that you mentioned Vine reviews. Do you know anybody who's on Vine, like who's actually a Vine reviewer?
yes, I know plenty of people that are Vine reviewers.
Interesting. You're actually one of the first people that I've met who knows a lot of other people. A lot of Amazon sellers are like, who are these people and do they actually exist? My mom is actually a Vine reviewer,
Okay,
and they go and get all sorts of interesting things. And they write lots of reviews. She's actually a writer as well. So it's been an
nice.
interesting experience to kind of watch some of what she's done. And I think one of the things that's been most fascinating for me is some of the product that people are putting on Vine is not ready. like
Yes.
like they've it's pretty obvious that it was not very well thought out in terms of like what the experience was going to be like opening this thing up
Right.
and looking at those different pieces. What would you say if I was trying to compare what's the gold standard and then what should I actually be doing in terms of like my unboxing experience?
So it really depends on the product. Some products require to have this unboxing experience like giftable products. 100% of giftable products, you have to do unboxing experience. So you have to have a great box, nicely designed. When you open it, everything laid out. They're very, I would say, like ergonomic, right? So you can, if it's like set of, I don't know, different bottles or whatever, you can easily take them out and put them back and whatever. So it's nice, right? If this experience, let's say you are selling dishes, right? And the best part you can do there is to make sure it's safe. So nothing is being broken on the way to the customer. And this is what we've seen in the Vine reviews where people are mentioning the packaging and they're saying, we understand it's like it's very fragile material, but seller was able to pack it so well that we received everything as a whole thing. Nothing is being broken. So you have to think about how to seal it, how to pack it. So you're thinking about packaging experience from the perspective, not how hard you're supposed to unwrap it, but how easily you can take it out and it's very tight, I would say, inside, right? If we're talking about again supplements and skincare, it's just supposed to be nice packaging that is easy to open. Some packaging you have to rip them, right? So you don't want that. So you have to kind of think and you have to read the reviews, what people are talking about, the sellers with great packaging. So it's really a lot of packaging and design of the packaging. It's easy to open, nice to put it back. You can, for example, if you didn't like this product, you can give it to somebody else. That the person would not notice that you opened the box or whatever. So just be thoughtful about it. Don't go with the packaging that came from the supplier. You have to redesign it, of course. And read customer reviews and read the summaries with Voc AI again. Yeah, it's like you can get summaries within 90 seconds and it will be on your dashboard what people like and don't like about this product, what people like and don't like about the packaging. And one of the tips that I was showcasing a couple times, you can download of this insight. It's 6 files from Voc AI. You just drop it in ChatGPT and create your personal chat with like, listen, tell me more how I supposed to approach the packaging for this product. And then ChatGPT will just really read through this like thousands and thousands of reviews, and you will receive the summarized opinion. And because ChatGPT also released a couple days ago projects, so now you can create project for your product, and you can just drop all the data about your product and build everything you need in the same chat.
I love it. I love it. Another AI tool I'll recommend is called Notebook LM. It's a Google tool. So you go to notebooklm.google.com and it's really cool because you can copy and paste. So let's say you took those Voc AI files
Yeah.
and you put those into a Google Doc. You can then import that Google Doc into this LLM and then ask it questions. And it'll do two things. One, it'll bring up a podcast where there's two voices that actually describe what's in what's in the Google Doc. So it'll like you actually have like you can listen. It's almost as if you had two customers like talking about the product kind of thing.
Wow. I
Yeah.
did not hear about that
Yeah,
one.
no, it's cool. And then the other thing is you can ask it questions and it will give you a link back to whatever part of the document had that text. Um, I don't know about you, but whenever I ask a question to AI, very rarely do I have it say something like, I don't know. Usually it just comes up with something. And
Yeah.
and that hallucination is a pain in the, right? It's
Yeah.
really frustrating. Um, Notebook LM won't do that because Notebook LM is only going to use data
Is it
that
LM or LLM?
it's just LM,
Okay.
Notebook LM, which is interesting because large language learning model, right? Like
Yeah.
LLM, that's what everybody's talking about. But yeah, that Google just named it Notebook LM.
Okay. And I assume it's free because it's Google.
Good question. So if you're on G Suite, it's totally included right now
Yeah.
inside G Suite. So if
Yeah.
you're using
Yeah. Yeah.
that, then yeah, it's just included in their program.
Damn, I am going to check this out right after the webinar.
Yeah.
I love all this AI stuff. Really playing with this, like, when people are going to sleep, they're like on their phones and Instagram. I am with AI.
I'm with you 100% there. The thing I'll toss out here, a small plug for myself. I run another podcast called Automation Hunter. And on Automation Hunter, it's actually automationhunter.com. All I do all day long is interview individuals about their own products. So I had the founder of Fathom, the like recording software. It's actually one of the recording softwares we have in this call right now. I had him on just this last week, and we just review lots of new AI and automation products out there to kind of connect those dots. So I'm with you. I'm an automation tool junkie. So love
Yeah.
that stuff.
Do you like Go High Level? Do you
Which one?
hate Go High Level? Go High Level.
Go high level is interesting. Go high level. So from my perspective, go high level is a really powerful CRM tool. But beyond a CRM, it'll do text messaging and it'll do um, email automation, and all sorts of other amazing things. One thing that I've found is that over the years, there have been lots of people who have come out with different platforms like that, where they seem to want to be everything to everyone. And my experience is software is actually best when it serves a specific purpose. And it's best when you identify that specific need. I found that the guys who get to a place where they're going everyone for everything, those guys generally are able to charge a price that I'm not willing to pay to cover all of those different use cases. So for me, Go High Level, I think, is a fantastic platform. I know lots of people that are having success with it. For me specifically, I would probably prefer something that was more specific to the needs that I had, and then I would make sure that it had tons and tons of integrations connected to Zapier and all of those other things, so that I could make my suite of software without having to be locked into one ecosystem for what's there.
I think you should give it a second look because I was hesitant about Go High Level and I was on Kajabi, canceled Kajabi finally last week. So with Go High Level, you're actually able to integrate everything, anything you want, and Zap included. And they also have their own Zap that you don't have to pay for.
Interesting, and it's
So
just
yeah,
included in the product.
right. And you're paying 297. Uh, and they said that everything is included, but you will find out later that like, oh, I have to pay for text messages and I have to pay for
Mm-hmm.
emails. But there is another thing. There is other apps that you can purchase with unlimited emails that you're paying like one-time payment and it's lifetime. I forgot the name of this. And then you're plugging in this integration to Go High Level. So now you can send at least the minimum emails a month without any extra charge because you paid once like this $350. And you can do like really anything. You can do quizzes, you can do forms, you can do calendars. Everything is unlimited. The only really downside of the Go High Level, they're pretty slow because if you need to like have several chats with the clients. Sometimes it takes like 5 seconds to load. For me, it is super slow. I'm getting anxious. That's why I don't work with clients. My team does. But give another look to
Hmm.
go. It's
I'll have to
really
go take a peek
phenomenal.
at it. Like I said, I have several other
Yeah.
people who use it constantly, and they love Go High Level.
Yeah. It's really mind blowing. You're like, oh, I probably need this, and then you look there and it's there. Like, oh, I probably also need this, and it's there. Like, really, and all this chat, and if you need even the live chat on your website, it it's included.
Love it. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool. I'll have to take another peek at it. Like I said, I've used a lot of those platforms before. I even played with Go High Level. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago. So in software years, that's like hundreds of years ago that I used it. So I'm sure there's lots of new things to check out. I'll have to take a
a
peek.
lot, a lot. Check it out. Really, super exciting. I am not really usually into promotion, some type of a CRM, but this one is really life-changing for us.
I love it. All right. So if you could make a phone call back to yourself early in your career, what would you tell that individual to do? What would you tell them to dig in and do?
Oh, the fun part that I can't make this call. It's just the connection doesn't work back or forward.
Imagine that it did. Imagine that you you
Imagine that
you
it did.
imagining
So,
that it did work, then you were able to, and we're going to imagine that that younger version of yourself was actually mature enough to receive the advice that you're about to give
yeah,
them.
that's a good thing. To myself, like Amazon seller, or to myself in general?
In general, actually, I want to hear the answer to both of those questions. What would you tell the Amazon seller version of yourself?
The Amazon seller version of myself, I would say back in the days, not give up in some products that I was just frustrated with. Definitely, because one of the products I give up just because somebody said that they have a patent. but the patents were territorial and the patent was in UK, not in United States. So I could just file the
Mm,
patent. Another product I give up, I was making over 1,000 units a month. And that was a very good amount of revenue. And I give up because suppliers send me defective inventory because I paid them directly instead of using Alibaba Trade Assurance. And that was so bad. Like I had to refund to people and I lost money on this batch. And like I was just frustrated and I said, I'm not doing it again. So not give up on products, definitely. Um, then and to another version of my to younger version of myself, I would probably say stick longer with some of the businesses I exited because I
mm,
could make more money out of them. So I was so excited to launch the product, launch the project, grow it to a certain amount of revenue, and generally speaking, sell it while it was making revenue because I wanted the chunk, I wanted the lump sum where I could actually make it bigger and then in the next, let's say, 6 months, sell it at the higher amount.
mm.
So I was so excited to make money now. And I was kind of on a race. Oh, I'm going to do another project and another project and another project. Uh, and it's great because like you're creating something and then you're selling, you having lump sum. But then when you're looking back, you're like, I actually could make way more money if I would just stick a little bit longer.
It's interesting that you say that though, because I think one of the things you've got to recognize is what is your own working genius? Like what is the thing you do best? There's a book by Patrick Lencioni called The Six Working Geniuses, and it takes you through the idea of launching a project. You could substitute that for launching a product, going
Yeah.
through the process of launch, beginning to end for a project or a product, very similar. And generally, you're going to be really good at some part of that process. So it goes through and wonder is the first step where you wonder, like, is there a problem here to solve? And then after you've identified the problem, then you've got to innovate. And so you come up with hundreds of ways, i.e., products that could solve that product or solve that problem. Then you have to do discernment where you choose which one of those products is actually going to get off the ground. Then you have to galvanize, i.e., go out and like get people to begin buying, all the review step, all of that kind of stuff. Then after that, you have to do enablement or support, where you're kind of like coaxing it to a reality stage. And then last but not least, you have tenacity, which is like, I've got to check all the boxes and make sure that everything's taken care of. So, project or product, we all have two of those six working geniuses, meaning I have two of them that give me energy, and the rest either are kind of a non-starter. They don't really give or get. And then two of them are what I call or what he calls a working frustration. So it drains me. And so for me, I'm all about innovation and galvanizing. I love those two things, really good at that. Really bad at that part in the middle where you have to decide which product or project is the right way to solve this problem. Really bad at that. And it shows across my different sides of things. So I would be curious. I bet you're really good at the innovation side of things. And so and I would be willing to bet that the support side of things, like the like coaxing things along, you probably don't love that part. And so I'm curious, like I would challenge that, I guess is what I would say for
Yeah, you're right.
your own advice.
I do like innovate. I do like to start things, and I don't like to stick with things. Like I need to move to something new, to something new. This is what gives me like a lot of energy. And if I,
Mm-hmm.
like, for example, we have an agency reach momentum, right? And I do love this agency, but when I realized recently, I'm like, damn, this business was over 5 years, 5.5 years. We're still in this business. Thanks God it's working. We're happy. Everything's great. But for me, it's kind of already, I'm in a position when I need a change. At the same time, I was able to grow something in United States because I'm immigrant and it's kind of
Yeah,
um
that's cool.
it's something that I can be proud of. That's why I'm not like exiting, and I'm not planning to exit at least yet. But I am ready and I want to do something else, and I'm doing because I need to grab some more energy to feed this business with the energy from something new.
I love it.
So yeah, I am with you here. I totally understand. And
Yeah,
if
take a look at that book. I mean, it is really, really interesting as far
wrote it
as
down.
yeah, it's already written down.
Yeah.
It does give a unique perspective there to look at it. Okay, so imagining we went back to that coffee shop. I'm that new Amazon seller. What
Work, this podcast is like therapy. Imagine you're there, close your eyes. You're
yes.
walking into the coffee shop. What do you
Yep.
see?
Yep.
What's
Yep.
in your on your left and on your right?
Exactly. So, what short tips, tricks, or hacks, tips, tricks, hacks, or books would you want to tell this young Amazon seller, new Amazon seller,
Listen,
to
about the
look at?
books, it's so tough these days. We have AI that can give you summary from like anything, right? Um, so tips, uh, commitment, commitment, dedication, and managing expectations.
Mm,
So if you decided that like, oh, I am launching business on Amazon or new product, it's my new side hustle. It is not. It is not a side hustle. And when somebody tells me that, I'm like, if for you it's a side hustle, don't do it because it does require your attention if you want to make it work.
mm,
Uh,
mm,
and managing expectations, it's like I can uncover a lot of there, but let's just manage expectations, not the cashback. Amazon is not a cashback. It's a high risk, high potential business. You can make a bank in 1 month and you can make nothing within 2 years. It's really both. And by going into that, you have to treat it as an adventure. It's an adventure, it's a new project. It's something that you want to make it work and you committed to make it work. It's not something that like I will launch it and we'll see what happens. So I would say that. Did I answer it? All of it?
yeah, no, you nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah.
All right. So, wrapping up here, what is the best way to get in touch with you if our listeners want to reach out?
It really depends. If you want to squeeze me for free advice, I'm not doing it. I am really very two things that can piss me off in life is wasting my time and disrespecting me. And if you're wasting my time, that's like the red button. Don't do that.
Well, I think you've
Uh,
already given plenty of advice on this podcast, so hopefully that's not the
yeah,
piece of it. But assuming they wanted to reach out and
yeah,
ask you a quick question or work with you, what would be the best way to get in
yeah,
touch?
that's super easy. You can reach out to me on Instagram, Reads Momentum, LinkedIn, Izabella Reads with the Z double L A and Reads like Reads Carlton or Famous Cracker, whatever you prefer. And you can go on our website, readsarm.com, RITZ, arm, like we're trying to be very strong here.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and fill out the form and talk to my team. I am open to answer some questions. I'm not open to like, tell me how should I launch my business on Amazon? Please don't ask me that. That will set my soul on fire.
Well, I mean, and from that standpoint, it makes sense. That's what you do for a living. So,
Yeah.
all
Yep.
right. Thanks everybody for joining us on this episode of Monetizing Your Mental Capital. I'm your host, Will Christensen. Again, this episode is sponsored by Seller Labs, which is an amazing tool that helps Amazon sellers grow and scale their businesses.